Well, there is still a lot to do because really, on the ground, nothing has changed in a physical sense at the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant. The risk of radiation leakage remains and the danger from ongoing fighting continues. This was a 14-person team. We understand that 8 of them have now returned to the headquarters in Vienna. 6 have remained in the Zaporizhzhia region. They will be at the site. That will be scaled back, though, next week to just 2 people who will remain a permanent presence at the facility. Now, here in Ukraine, there have been a lot of questions raised about this IAEA mission, particularly it ended up being so short. At the start, when this mission was announced, it was scheduled for 4 days. In the end, it lasted only 2, and those days for the team to be at the plant were both quite short. And the President Volodymyr Zelensky has also again expressed his disappointment that the team has not called again for demilitarization of the site. But on returning to Vienna, Rafael Grossi, the director, absolutely categorically refused accusations that this mission was manipulated or orchestrated by Russia. He told the gathered press that everything he wanted to see, he was able to see, and that he does not believe he was given a skewed view of information from the site. So the bulk of the team has returned to the headquarters in Vienna. I think 8 members left and they've returned to their headquarters. Another 6 remained, but they weren't on site from what we understand today. They were just finishing off some of the final paperwork and the consultations back in the city of Zaporizhzhia. That's going to be scaled back to a 2-person team, and they will remain on site after this mission officially wraps up at the end of Saturday. That is what the IAEA says is possibly its greatest success out of this mission. Having those 2 permanent representatives at the plant, they say, is vital to maintain a really close overseeing mechanism as the situation really does continue to unravel at the nuclear power plant. But Ukraine still has raised concerns. It isn't happy with how all the details of this mission have unfolded, and nor has the IAEA's trip quelled any of the fears of the locals who live around this plant, because it has been another day of the blame game. Russia and Ukraine are accusing each other of shelling once again. But they have raised many concerns about what the mission has been able to achieve so far. Particularly, the plant operators, Energoatom, has released a statement early on Friday morning saying that Russia is doing everything it can to prevent the team from getting a true and thorough understanding of what's happening at the plant, and has accused Russian occupying forces of manipulating and distorting the facts within the plant. We understand, and it has been reported, that no international media and international journalists were allowed to follow the team into the plant. According to Energoatom, only Russian journalists were allowed to accompany the team when they went into the Zaporizhzhia facility. Now, the Ukrainian state broadcaster is running a story this morning from an anonymous worker at the plant who says that the IAEA team were taken on a very orchestrated tour, and says that no workers were allowed to talk to any of the nuclear experts without the presence of Russian authorities with them. So for Ukrainian government, that raises serious concerns. The presidential advisor has said he's surprised that the main delegation only remained on site for several hours. And the president himself, Volodymyr Zelensky, says he's disappointed that the director of the nuclear watchdog hasn't yet called for the plant to be demilitarized. Have a listen to part of his statement from overnight. Very long drive ahead of them. It's not an easy trek to get down to Enerhodar, which is the town where the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant sits. It's approximately about a 10-hour drive, and that's not taking into account all the various military checkpoints that you need to go through during these current conflict days to get to that area. and then they're going to be needing to get very close to the front lines because this power plant sits on that southern border offensive. The Ukrainian officials have accused Russia of targeting the corridor that the IAEA convoy is going to be using to get to the plant. They said they were continuing to shell that on Tuesday, but Russia has denied those allegations. It's expected that this team of experts should reach the plant by late this afternoon. It's going to be approximately a 4-day risk assessment of the plant. They have a lot to cover, not just looking at the structural integrity of the plant, but also checking whether the safety and security safeguards are in place and whether the main and the backup safeguards are going to be working effectively. We know that the head of the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, met with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky before they departed Kyiv, and everyone is going to be eagerly awaiting to see what this team discovers when their risk assessment is done.